Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you for joining me today for another card making video, and today we are using some of the floral stamps and the Something Fancy bundle. I really love this bundle. Yeah, I'll keep reaching for this bundle. Great fonts mixed with mixed fonts, great sentiments with mixed fonts, and then these just fab coordinating dies which are really super useful. So reaching for that again, and then I've got Petal Park here as well because I want to use some florals to create a background. I thought these would be cute to use. So they're the stamp sets we're using. They're in the mini catalogue, and we're going with a white embossed card on neutral cardstock. So this idea kind of came from one of my good friends, Hannah McCurlish. That's Stamping by Hannah, so you can find her on YouTube too. And she had this card that she made where she white embossed and then coloured in some flowers, different stamp set and stuff. But there is white pencil on there, just to bring those out a little bit. It may not show as well on the camera, but it really makes a nice difference. And then we've got some metallic layering there as well. And then I've brought in, on this one, I've brought in Evening Evergreen. Okay, so this is crumb cake with Evening Evergreen and gold. So I thought we'd do that. I like how this has turned out, so we're going to switch it up. We're going to do something a little different in terms of the colours. So instead of the sort of warm neutrals with crumb cake, we're going to bring in the cool neutrals by using grey granite. So we've got a card base here ready to cut and scored. Here, the usual dimensions, so that's cut at 4 1/8 and scored at 5 7/8 of an inch there. And then to complement the grey, we're going to go with Night of Navy. This measures 3 1/8 by 4 7/8 of an inch. And then rather than the yellow gold, we're going to bring in the rose gold in that pack. Does that come across on there? That's probably a better view of the colour there. So this is a pack of 6x6 specialty cardstock paper, DSP, and it's got this texture to it. I think that's what it's called, textured metallic, in gold and rose gold. So that's really nice. And then we've got another panel of the grey granite there, which so that measures the rose gold measures 3 by 4 3/4. So it's 6x6 each. So cutting it at 3 means you can get 2 cards out of it, and plus a little bit of scraps. But obviously you could adjust those measurements if you want to use the layout in a different way. And then we've got another piece of grey granite there. This is 2 7/8 by 4 5/8. Okay, so these are 1/8 increments, but obviously you can size that however you want to suit your particular card. Okay, also got another scrap of grey granite there for the sentiments. Okay, so that was just an offcut, probably off this bit, so we can stamp our sentiments. Okay, so that's what we've got. And then we do have this wonderful Night of Navy ribbon that's in the mini catalogue, which we'll use for our embellishment. Okay, so we'll have a bow there, which we'll just do with that bunny ear method that I find the most straightforward way to tie bows personally. Lots of different methods. Oh, whoops a daisy. Let's try that again, shall we? Didn't pull it tight enough in the first instance before I started messing with it. Just trying to get that centre a bit just to sit flat a bit. So tie your middle knot nice and tight, and then start adjusting your loops and tails to suit. So that's going to be ready when we are ready to put that on, and we'll just cut the tails down when it goes on. Okay, so that guy's ready to go. Right, so it's these bits that we really need to do the work on in the first instance. So we'll pop everything else to one side just for the moment. Right, heat embossing then. So first things first, then we're going to bring in our embossing additions sort of kit, if you like. So I've got an embossing sort of anti-static bag thing. The Versamark and the powder doesn't come with it. You get embossing powder, great tweezers, reversible tweezers. They are good sturdy ones, metal Teflon tip that's heat resistant. Nice little brush for clearing away your clearing your tray, and then you've got a tray. It does come with a little screwy cap, so you know if you're doing beading or anything like that, you won't escape. But I'm just taking it off because I want to be able to tip the powder back in and into the tub. Just got some white embossing powder here. So we have sets of 3. This is it comes in the basics. You get clear, white and black, I believe, in the basics, and then we've got the metallics, which are gold, silver and copper. These are the basics, set of 3, and this is the white. Okay, so I do put a big W on there as well because the writing is a little bit small, and in the tub the clear powder will look very similar. And then we have Versamark ink. So Versamark ink is a clear sticky ink which helps us with embossing it to pigment ink. Stays wet a little bit longer, grabs the ink but has no colour. Grabs the powder but has no colour. So we can heat set it onto our project. So that's what we've got here. I'm going to bring in some scrap paper just because I've got this powder to sort out. So we've got a couple of bits of embossing to do. So I think first of all we'll get our sentiment done. So we'll get that embossing buddy right there, and I still almost forgot to use it. What this guy does is he just sort of coats any residual oil, anything like that may have been on your fingers. So there's a little bit of residue that comes off there. Don't know whether that's visible on camera. And it just detacks anything that might be on there. We want some light tapping of the Versamark on that stamp. So I just want it central on here just so that I've got room to die cut it. Could just cut it with a punch or anything else to fit. Choose the sentiment that you want. I thought this one was quite nice. I'm just pressing that really, really firmly just to make sure that transfers nice and easily, and just sort of picking it up around the edges. I mean, I've got plenty of room on this because it is larger than the sentiment I'm using. Chuck your powder over the top and you should find, hopefully, that there is minimal excess, which there isn't. That's come out, hardly any excess powder on there at all. Okay, so that can be heat set. There's just one little blob there that's just like a slightly larger crystal, and it's just needs to be loosened off. There we go, beautiful. So that's all we needed to do with that, and then we can heat set this with our heat gun. So this isn't a Stampin' Up heat gun, but it's very, very similar to the Stampin' Up heat gun. I've had this gun for ages and ages and ages, but most of heat embossing guns will come with 2 speeds, sort of low and high. When you're heat embossing, you really want it on the high setting. Don't cover the vents, otherwise it will overheat. You want to get it nice and warm. Run it for a couple of minutes, couple of seconds or so, to let it warm up. And I actually heat the back and the front to minimise the warping of the cardstock. So you'll see me do that hopefully in the as you watch. Okay, but I'm going to mute the video so because it's really, really loud. And the other thing we can do as well is, I almost forget every time, just handy dandy things to have are these tweezers, which is going to just help protect my fingers and hopefully allow you to see that a little more clearly. So we're going to switch this on in a sec okay, and I'll be back when I'm done. Okay. So there we go. So just while that's warm, I'm just going to try and sort of flatten that just a little bit. Not so critical with this bit because we're going to be die cutting it. Okay, but that's what you might want to do before you let that cool completely. Okay, so it's not, it is a little warped, but not as warped as if you'd have just gone over it in quickly on a single side. All right, okay. So that's ready to go, and just be careful you don't touch it too soon after you've heat embossed it either, because it will still be just a little bit molten, and you might smudge it or stick a fingerprint on it. All right, so that's there ready to go. And then our other piece, our other layer here, this is the one that we're going to do as our background, and we're still going to use the Versamark ink, and we're going to use this trio of flowers from Petal Park to stamp over this. Okay, so we want to get some nice tapping on there, but of course what we don't want, I've done the see, almost forgot again, it's on the desk ready to use and I still almost forgot. Okay, so we're going to get this stamped reasonably quickly, but we want to make sure that the ink is transferred. Now of course what you're doing is stamping on something that looks pretty invisible, so you're going to have to sort of trust yourself to make sure you get that covered, and if you tilt it in the light a little bit, then you should be able to see where you've been. Put that there, and we're going off the edges. It always looks more natural when you go off the edges with these things. So I'm going to just do, we can just do partial part elements of the stamp as well, just to fill in any gaps. I might just put a little bit on this corner, and there's a little bit just over here that I'd like to fill in. So when you're happy, you've got, I don't know whether you can catch that. You sort of see where that is, maybe. Okay, so once you're happy you've caught all the background on there, we can bring in the tray again. We can grab our tweezers and get hold of that, and you want to cover that up. Whoops a daisy. I was just trying not to catch any of the image, that's why. Can't grab it enough to allow me to flick it, so I'm just going to use my fingers just to get the embossing powder on. So I want to make sure I've caught it all. Then we can use the tweezers to help with the heat setting. It doesn't matter how much you bung on here. Almost all the tub's been put on there, but all that's going to sweep back into the pot. It doesn't go to waste at all, so that's going to go back in once we're finished. And hope I don't knock it flying in the meantime, because that would be just the kind of thing that I'd do. I'm going to need to find a place that I can grab this. There we go. That's it. That'll do. Right, same again. Heat emboss this, and we'll be back. Okay, so when you've got a busy design like this, you just want to just sort of hold it in the light, twizzle it around to just make sure you've got it all, and that looks all great. Okay, we want that to cool completely before we mess about with it too much. Okay, so while we're just letting that cool down, I'm just going to pop away this powder because I can just see it having a mishap perched on the corner of my desk there. Okay, so that's most of it out. You can use your brush to tidy that up a bit more. But just for now, just pop that away, just so that I don't knock it flying. That's all. And then while I've got this scrap of paper, I'm going to just grab the Night of Navy and the coordinating ink. You can use Versamark if you want. And if you don't have the Night of matching ink pad for your cardstock, that is an option. But we're just going to use some tone on tone stamping just to add a little bit of texture to the edge of this. And this is like you don't think, just do, and just go around the edge. You're going to see so little of it, it's not going to matter that you're not twizzling your stamp or anything. We're just adding just a hint of detail to the edge there. Okay, in a tone on tone look. Okay, all right. So that's what we've got, and you're going to see so little of it. It will be barely noticeable, but it just adds a little bit of something. All right. Okay. So we can start layering things together. So that rose gold needs to go onto our Night of Navy. So I'm actually going to use wet glue because this is kind of a it's like a coated paper. It's got like a shine to it. So you want something that's going to be a little stronger. Isn't people who watch regularly, you know that I tend to use my stamp and seal for layering. Okay, but I'm going to do that. And then likewise we're going to use wet glue to pop this on here for the same reason. It's quite a shiny, slick surface, so we want that to be nice and strong. Okay, I'm just going to hold that just for a minute. Okay, we've already got our ribbon. The next thing we want to be doing in a minute is to die cut our sentiment, which we're going to do with the Something Fancy dies. So something fancy dies. So a few shapes we can use, but I'm actually going for the medium one that's like that. Okay, for this one. So that can finish drying off just for a second. This will fit through the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss, which, don't forget, we've got a real good fantastic joining offer, and you can choose to, in fact I'm going to put that a little higher, and then we'll have the bow sit on the sentiment, I think, or shall we? Nah, we'll just leave it. So rather than just going for the regular, sorry, I'm just taking my time just to make sure that that's lined up. It's not always easy with the different fonts. So this is the mini emboss, and it really is just a mini of the big machine. Okay, she still folds out like so. We've got a handle. This one doesn't come off. On the big machine you can actually remove the handle. But this one's a fixed handle, but she's super light, very easy to pick up and down. You get all the, oh, oops, I'm so sorry, I've just knocked you for six there. You get all the plates that you need, okay, and like the larger machine, instructions are on the plate, so you can do die cutting and embossing with both regular and 3D embossing folders that are sized to fit the mini machine. Okay, so she's lovely to use. If one, you're on a budget, or two, you've got less space or whatever, so it's a really good offer. And the details will be in the celebration flyer and on the website, so if you just pop along to the website link that's in the description of the video, you'll be able to get some more details on how you can get one of these as part of your starter kit. Okay, and you still get the same value in terms of you get to select a whole heap of free product for the joining price. But if you don't want a mini cutting machine, that's fine. You can still just use the regular £99 offer that we have running all the time, and just get your free product, additional free product I should say, that way. Right, that's it. All we need to do is put this together now. So as we've got the wet glue out, we may as well use it. Don't need a lot of this stuff. It's quite very strong, especially card to card. And now's your time to work out if you want it in a particular orientation. Don't think it matters. But you know, if you've got a mishap on there or something that you want to maybe cover up, now's the time to adjust that so that you can. Oh, forgot I zoomed you out. There we are. Okay. So that's nice and central, and then you can decide where you want this. Now, on my original sample, it ended up a little on the high side, so I think because what I did was I thought, oh no, I'm going to make sure my bow fits, and I'll put the bow on, and then yeah, I didn't like it so much. So not that it's bad, it's just wasn't quite what I was looking for. So I'm going to put that where I want it, which is something like that. It's still above centre, but not quite as high as the original sample. If you felt like it, you could sponge around there just to help it lift off the page a little, if you felt that was necessary, but that's entirely up to you. Grab a glue dot, which is my preferred way to stick down bows. So you just press on the dot and lift it up, and it sort of comes off with your and they're really strong. So look, I can lift the card up with that. It's really, really strong. So I just keep mine. The box has long disintegrated. I've had those literally ages. Because it's the only time I use them is for sticking bows, really. So I don't know how many you get on a roll, I'm sure. If I had the box, I could probably tell you. So those aren't quite even, so let's just take another little bit off. Oops, preferably straight. Ooh, little bits everywhere. Okay, it's that little desk bin I've got. So there we are. I'm not going to add any gems or anything. I didn't add any gems to the other one, but obviously, you know, your card, you feel free to add embellishments to that if you really want to. And this was the original one. I like them both, I have to say. And I think the pink, grey, blue, nice combo. I like the sort of neutral crumb cake with the gold and the green as well. So really cool. Oh, flipping heck, I didn't colour the blooming flowers, did I? White watercolour pencil. I was like, oh. Now, just goes to show you though, right, it still looks cool even if you don't want to do this bit. But I'm going to do it because that was part of the whole thing. Okay, it just goes to show you, you don't have to do it. And of course, I'm only going to be able to reach the bits that I can actually see. So we'll do that. That'll be your our secret, right? That I forgot to do that. The sentiment, by the way, probably not something I'd generally go for, but you know what I was thinking when I was making them? I kind of figured that it wouldn't make this would make not a bad little wedding card. So if you knew what the accent colour was for the ceremony, you could tailor that quite nicely, I would say. You could have some vellum in there, which kind of gives it that sort of soft weddingy look. And we've got other metallic sheets available that could maybe fit better with whichever colour scheme you're doing. So it's real super subtle. Now you probably can't even see that well on the camera, but anyway, there we go. It's really cool. Like it a lot. So there you go, 2 ideas for you, 2 different colourways. I'd love to see if you take this idea and do something with it. Let me know. 1, which is your favourite, and 2, if you try it. That'd be awesome. Thanks ever so much for your support as always, with your likes, subscribes and comments. Hope you're staying safe out there. Take care and I'll see you soon. Bye.